Кто не хочет или боится, свободен.
Никого не держу. До свидульки и пошли вон.
Both George W. Bush and Barack Obama have declared that Islam is a religion of peace. Anjem Chowdhury begs to differ.
You can't say that Islam is a religion of peace, because Islam, it does not mean peace. Islam is, it means Islam submission. So the Muslim is the one who submits. You know, there's a place for violence in Islam. There's a place for jihad in Islam.
I believe that those terrorists that want to do harm to others are applying the true Islam that was practiced by Muhammad and his followers in the early stage of Islam.
The Quran is full of, you know, jihad is the most talked about duty in the Quran after Tawheed, belief. Nothing else is mentioned more than the topic of fighting.
We are told Islam means salam, means peace. In fact, the Quranic definition does not mean that. Islam, Muhammad said, بُعِثْتُ بِالسَّيْفِ أُمِرْتُ أَنْ أُقَاتِلَ النَّاسِ. I have been sent with a sword. I have been sent to fight and kill people until they recite the Islamic creed. That doesn't sound like peace, does it? So it is not peace.
A couple of memes that Muslims use that you have to be able to understand and refute. Number one, Islam is peace. You hear that all the time, right? Oh, Islam is peace, Islam is peace. The peace referred to in this statement is the peace that will come after the entire world has been completely conquered by Islam and all infidels have been executed. Then there will be peace.
Muslim organizations worldwide often declare that Islam is a religion of peace. But what does that really mean? It seems easy for a Muslim to quote a peaceful verse from the early parts of the Quran, while, by following the principle of taqiyya, neglecting to mention the fact that it has been officially abrogated by later, more violent verses. According to the Quran, the world will be at peace only when Islam and Sharia reign in every country, and never until then.
The fact is that Islam is many things, many things. But to say it's a religion of peace is nonsense. It's to ignore reality. It's to ignore very difficult but necessary facts, not paradigms, but facts. To say that Islam is a religion of peace is to say something based entirely on hope. It's to elevate a hope into truth. And I hope, as you all know, history teaches us that's a very bad thing to do. Thank you.
Wenn man sich einfach nur kritisch mit der Geschichte auseinandersetzt, mit Mohammeds Leben, mit der islamischen Lehre, mit der Geschichte, wenn man sich mit diesen Fakten auseinandersetzt, wirklich erwiesene Fakten, die sowohl von christlicher, wissenschaftlicher Seite als auch von muslimischer, wissenschaftlicher Seite dargestellt werden, wenn man sich mit diesen Fakten auseinandersetzt, dann ist es wirklich verblüffend, danach noch zu glauben, dass der Islam eine friedliche Religion ist. Ich sehe nur ein wirklich taktisches Vorgehen der muslimischen Funktionäre, die derartige Wahrheiten gerne ausblenden, um, ich sage mal, der christlichen Gesellschaft eine Schlaftablette zu verpassen, sodass sie dann die Islamisierung Europas verschlafen, im wahrsten Sinne des Wortes. Verschlafen durch eine trügerische, falsche Darstellung und durch das Verblenden der ganzen Wahrheit. Das ist Teil der Strategie zur Islamisierung Europas.
Islam is a religion and a political system that dictates that one must carry out warfare against unbelievers until they either convert or submit. And this is the justification that the terrorists around the world are using for what they're doing. And that justification is based on core elements of Islamic tradition. That being the case, it's very difficult for moderate Muslims, peaceful Muslims, to stand up within the Islamic community and to say this is not part of Islam. They only do so out of conscious deception, intending to mislead Westerners in accord with the Islamic doctrine of taqiyya or religious deception, or they do so on the basis of simply being unaware of what Islam actually teaches.
But Islam not only has a pious dimension, but it also has a political dimension, a complex system of laws, a political philosophy on how society should be organized. And if you look at that political system, it's anything but peaceful.
In Islam, the separation between temporal, secular and religious power is not only impossible, it is heretical. Only in the complete blending of all aspects of human activity and all aspects of political and legal functions of the state can we have the caliphate, the properly organized state that is pleasing to Allah.
Tutaj też opierając się na słowach jednego z misjonarzy, którego niedawno spotkałem, przepracował ponad 30 lat na Bliskim Wschodzie, on powiedział wprost, islam jest złożonym systemem polityczno-społeczno-ekonomiczno-religijnym, czyli te wszystkie elementy się zazębiają.
Czyli można powiedzieć, że islam jest nie tylko religią, ale wręcz ideologią jakąś.
Tak, złożonym systemem, dokładnie.
Islam is not simply a religion, but it is a whole system. You may think it is only a religion, but it isn't. It has another component to it. It is also a state. What does it mean that Islam is a religion and a state? It means that it is a whole system. In other words, if you were to imagine your life, because what we are now talking about is life and religion. If you are talking about a life, this is a non-Muslim view of life. If that square was life, then this is life for us. And religion is a tiny-weeny part of it. According to Islam, that is not the case. According to Islam, this box, the same box, becomes a whole religious system. And life, as you see it, is a tiny part of it. It means that this life, you eat, you drink, you sleep, you have business, there are governments, there are laws, it is all controlled by this religious system. So Islam is not simply a religion. It is a whole encompassing system. It is a socio-political, socio-economical, socio-religious, educational, legislative, judiciary, militaristic system, cloaked and garbed in religious terminology. It is a whole thing. Everything that a Muslim does is according to this system. Everything is encompassing. It is a whole system.
Na czym polega totalitarny charakter państwa? Na tym, że kontroluje ono wszystkie przejawy życia, nie tylko publicznego, ale i prywatnego.
Islam is a principle. Islam is a comprehensive system. Islam is a law. You may call it a religion. I don't like to use that word. It's too restricting. When we say religion, a whole lot of things just come up in the mind from all the movies and books and things that we've read. Religion seems like kind of restriction, like a suit you might wear, like going into some place like it might be to some people virtual reality. You've heard of that, right? So like virtual reality, you can pay for, you can go somewhere and develop and have your own religion. But Islam is not like that. No, it's not like that. Islam is a law. Islam is a system. Islam is a legislation. Islam is a regulation, and therefore it has dimensions by which you can determine and identify it.
In its fullest form, it is a complete, total, 100% system of life. Islam has religious, legal, political, economic, social, and military components. The religious component is a beard for all of the other components.
Islam has to be known as more than a religion. The idea that Islam is a spiritual religion like, for instance, Christianity, is completely incorrect.
It would be incorrect to describe Islam as primarily, let alone solely, a religion. Since its early beginning in Muhammad's lifetime, it has also been a geopolitical project and a system of government, a political ideology, if you will.
Chowdhury says his group is merely following core Islamic teachings. He says Islam is much more than a religion.
This particular belief is more than just a religion. It's not just a spiritual belief. It is in fact an ideology which you believe in and you struggle for and you're willing even to die for because you believe in that. That is your whole life.
I converted to Christianity. Muhammad clearly stated that in the ends of days there will be many who defect from the faith. Kill them when you see them, wherever you find them. So this is the question that the West needs to understand. What part of kill don't they understand?
Ich kann aus eigener Erfahrung sagen, dass ich versichern kann, dass das, was in der Öffentlichkeit gesagt wird und was den Christen gesagt wird und das, was hinter verschlossener Tür in der Familie, in der muslimischen Gruppe oder Gesellschaft, in der Moschee, was da gesagt wird, das ist ein Unterschied wie Tag und Nacht. Und manchmal bin ich verblüfft über die Naivität des Westens, die Naivität der Christen, wie sie sich so verblenden und so verführen lassen. Ich bin so verblüfft, dass so derartige vorhandene Fakten in der islamischen Lehre, wo man nicht mal Moslems zu braucht, um sie zu verstehen, dass derartige Fakten einfach ausgeblendet werden.
We just say that Islam is not like another leaf on the tree of religions. Islam cannot be compared with Judaism or Christianity. In fact, Islam is a totalitarian ideology with no room for anything but Islam, so it should be compared more with other ideologies like fascism or communism that are exactly the same.
It was planned this way. It's a totalitarian political system masquerading as a religion. We have to call this, because if we don't call this out, they will defeat us with our own constitution.
The reason Islam will not declare itself publicly at this time as a political organization or a political ethos is simple. The reason is because it can hide behind our religious-based hate crime and constitutional laws which permit freedom of worship, even though its core doctrine opposes such liberties that we take for granted. Ironically, these primary UK laws would ultimately oppose such a fascist and dangerous ideology like Islam if it was ever to be declared publicly that it is not a religion.
We will never give in to terror or terrorism in any of its forms.
I'm sick and tired of people saying war on terror. There's no such thing as war on terror. In World War II, how smart would it have been if the United States of America said that they were at war with the Blitzkrieg, or if they were at war with the kamikaze? A nation does not go to war against a tactic.
We are fighting against a political, authoritarian, supremacist ideology.
A nation goes to war against an ideology. And that's what we've been talking about here today. We've been talking about the fact that we are against something that is a totalitarian, theocratic, political ideology, and it is called Islam. This is not about Muslims. Because just the same as in Nazi Germany, not every German was a Nazi.